Hey y'all, my name is Jasmine Jones and I am a licensed clinical social worker. And you are now watching Black Girl, a Therapist in the Wild, on this little show I like to call Therapist Sips and Reviews. And today we are reviewing Opus and we are sipping on Kahlua and Kahlua. How are you guys doing? So yes, I am aware that Abbott Elementary and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, second part of their crossover came out, and I was going to do that. But then I had a glass of wine one night and I sat up here and I watched Opus and I said, you know what? This movie is speaking to me in various different ways. And I feel like I need to review this motherfucker because I have questions and concerns for this little black girl that's up in here surrounded by these white people and their culty ways. So we're going to do this and then do Abbott Elementary. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia next week. Okay, so anyways, y'all, this movie is wild, and this movie has made me even more so double down on the thought process of cultures that do not realize the toxic parts of themselves and are not aware of how those toxic parts of themselves affect the rest of society are dangerous. Just like any other abuser that is not aware that they're an abuser or is not consciously going to take accountability for being an abuser. So this movie is basically about this little black girl. It's the girl from Bear, the Bear, yeah, and she's like this editor at this magazine and stuff, and she wants to like be this journalist and do interviews and stuff like that, but like they looking at her, they want to make it seem like it's ageism. I feel like it's because she's black and she's timid. She's black and she's timid because some of the shit that, you know, I just wanted her to speak up louder and have a little bit more bass in her voice, but she's timid. She's shy. But the movie starts off with, so it's basically about just our idolization of famous people and how we use them and how they in turn use themselves and objectify their own selves and forget their own humanity or just never had humanity to begin with in the first place. And so it starts off with like John Malkovich is like the main like protagonist in this motherfucker. Is the protagonist the bad guy? He's the bad guy. And so he's this rock star, right? And like it starts off with like him singing in front of this crowd and these fans are just in a daze with stars in their eyes idolizing this nigga, right? And then it goes to her and she's like trying to pitch something to her boss about another famous person, and she wants to write what she's pitching, right? And they love what she pitches, but then before she could be like, I'd like to write it, this old white man that's her boss speaks over her, which he continuously does throughout the fucking movie. Speaks over her and is like, oh no, we're gonna have to write it before she can even say it. Like he hears her forming the words, so he does this multiple times. This is a pattern. You hear her forming the words that she would like to be in charge of something, and you speak over her and you knock her fucking down. So it's piling up on her anxiety and low self-esteem, you know. She's just an anxious person and it's hard for her to speak up. Like they kind of went into her parenting a little bit, but it just seemed like she came from just like a regular family, loving parents, and maybe she just developed this sense of like low self-esteem just from life and being a black woman in the world and shit, you know. So she's talking to the dude that she's dating, fucking, I don't know. And it's this Asian dude, right? And he's trying to give her advice about like, cause she's just saying like, I want to be, you know, I want to use these celebrities as a leg up. And because people are so intrigued by celebrities, I want to use them as a leg up so that I could get to the place that I want to be, which is to write books and do shit like that. And it's like, at the same time, I understand like it's a business, it is what it is, but she's also in on objectifying these motherfuckers and forgetting that they're human beings and with human feelings and emotions and shit like that. See, when we objectify people, and don't see all of their humanity, if we're not paying attention to every possibility of what they can be, it makes it easy for them to get one over on us if they're manipulative or a narcissistic sociopath like John Malkovich was in this movie, right? And so, like, she goes, the dude is telling her that her life is basically mid and she needs to have more experiences of trauma and shit like that. And I'm just like, look here, you don't need to be traumatized to create good art. Like, it's enough for me to watch a scary movie, to watch documentaries, to talk to people that have been traumatized. I don't have to experience what they've experienced to glean something off of that and utilize it in my own way to create something that is, for myself without exactly copying off of them and their life and their story and things like that. And so, no, it's not. You don't need to traumatize yourself or anybody else to grow or to learn anything. You just have to be wise enough and chill enough to understand that everybody has a menagerie of emotions and personality traits, and you don't need to and just accepting all possibilities of what a person could be. Not, without assuming what they can be, you let them show you themselves, but you also accept all the possibilities of what they could possibly be, whether it's positive or negative. It makes it easier to move through the world. Like, that's why, like, when I say shit like I believe Michael Jackson was a pedophile, because there's a lot of evidence to say he was a pedophile. I say that very clearly and strongly and loudly because we all have the possibility to be that evil. It doesn't matter how talented you are, because people forget that just like talent is basically how much you can hyper focus on something and create something new from it. Most of the time people are hyper focusing either because they have neurodivergencies or because they've been traumatized and they need something else to focus on so they don't focus on their trauma. Decent people have been traumatized and they can create great art because they can hyper focus on something that they actively enjoy until they create something new. And then horrible, evil, fucked up people can also hyper focus on great art and create something amazing and wonderful and brand new and still be evil, horrible, fucked up people. Like, I don't understand the confusion there. So I can easily say that I accept all possibilities of what that man could be just because he's a human being, and human beings are capable of anything depending on how they deal with their shit. And so that's how I move through the world. I move through the world seeing people as fully as I possibly can see them and trying my best not to apply my own biases and stereotypes on them. It's not 100% because I am only human. And then letting them show me as much as possible who they are without me assuming who they are. And people will just show you. You don't have to look for shit, right? So, but like, if you're not set up like that, to just let people show you and accept that people can run the gamut of the most evil to the most great, then you can be easily bamboozled because you think they're the most greatest person in the world just because of a label, a status, a talent. And then they got you in their clutches, and now you're in the white people cold in the middle of the fucking desert, and they trying to murder the fucking shit out you, bitch. See what happens when you leave yourself open and vulnerable to shit outside of yourself that you put above yourself, and you're not paying attention to yourself and the gut instinct feelings that are telling you something's wrong here. This is not okay here. We need to leave here. See what happens? Right. So anyway, she's objectifying these celebrities too and not seeing them as people. So she wants the story so that it can push her narrative and where she wants to go, not even considering what the narrative of the people that she's getting stories from are. Right. So what happens is, being John Malkovich, he comes out with this brand new album, releases it, or lets everybody know, releases a single, and then lets everybody know he's going to have a listening party where he's going to invite a special few people, because this is how he releases his album. This is his 18th album. Come and listen to his new album at his fucking compound in the middle of the desert, right? So he sends it to these select few people, but most of the people happen to be people that have pissed him off in the past. This this podcast nigga that made fun of him for stuffing his pet animal after it died and shit. And I just don't need to do. I feel like that's weird as well. I don't judge people that do shit like that. I don't need poof stuffed and sitting there looking dead. That's a dead body in my house. I don't need a dead body in my house. I don't need a dead body sitting there staring at me with glass. I feel I am spiritual. That is a demon. So this nigga made fun of him. Then he invited these other motherfuckers, and then he invited her boss, who also said some shit about him. And then he invited her. And of course her boss wants to take over the whole situation and make it seem like she's just this young bitch at the place and she ain't really about nothing. He's gonna write the whole story, and she over here had researched up the wazoo, know everything about this nigga. But of course this white man is minimizing her and what she, so no, you hate to see it. You hate to see your hard work be minimized by other people, be not seen, especially when it's art. My art is being minimized. It's not being seen. Like, that's why I be telling folks, like, when I notice motherfuckers are copying me, but they don't like, they're copying the way I take pictures, they're copying the way I post, or copying my color scheme and color grading and all sorts of shit. But then you don't like my shit. You don't follow my shit. You don't acknowledge me as a live, living human person that matters. But you're stealing I block you immediately. No, because I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. I know they can make another. I don't care as long as I don't see it. Because it triggers me. Because I've been stolen from and overlooked throughout my whole life. And I just, at this point, I don't want to fucking see it. So, you don't acknowledge me as a fucking human being, and you steal from me and shit, or you minimize what I do, or you make me try to feel less than. You're invisible to me now. You're not a fucking person. You're not a person. Because what type of person does that? Like, I would never do that to somebody. I'm not going to steal or copy off of you, or like, I'm not going to not give you your flowers for doing great things and then try to copy your shit. Like, that shit is fucking weird. And that means that nefarious builds on nefarious. So if you're capable of that, what other things and fucked up shit are you capable of? Get the fuck out of my shit, bitch. I don't need to be around that. I don't need to be associated with that. It's fucking weird. And so I felt for her. I was just like, she out here trying to like show her art and be this great writer and do this stuff, and they not letting her do shit. So she gets invited to the compound too, right? And so they are on they go on a private jet to this private airport. Then they go on a 4-hour bus ride. See, I'm already questioning shit. I'm like, why is it 4 hours? Why can't we leave? Then they get there, and just like in that movie where them bitches was on that island getting raped and fucking murdered and shit by what is that movie? Blink Twice. Just like in Blink Twice, where them bitches was getting raped. As soon as they get there, they asked them bitches for their phones. They took their cell phones. And what did I tell you in the Blink Twice review? If they're asking for my cell phone, then I don't need to be there, because you shouldn't be inviting people to your spot that you don't trust to continue to have their property. So I don't need to fucking be here then. Like, where's the plane? Let me turn back around and leave. I'm not giving you my cell phone, my property. This shit costs $1,500. This was as much as a computer. I'm not giving you my property. So I guess that means I have to leave. So that would be the point where I would have just left. You gonna let me leave? No, because by the time she clocked it and tried to leave, what you do is, until they aggressively try to keep you there, you keep trying to walk the fuck out. Like, you're not going to talk me into staying in this place, sir. I don't give a fuck what you're talking. I don't care this little girl crying about this stupid ass puppet show and me sitting next to her. Obviously, she's a culty, brainwashed village of the damn child as well. I don't give a fuck, bitch. Oh, God. That shit pissed me off, because I just want her to have more bass in her voice. I want her to cuss these bitches out. I want her to do more, okay? And then John Malkovich is just this like sociopathic, narcissistic diva in this whole movie. And I just was like, And you can tell like this is like some bullshit because when he explains the reasoning behind why the cult, it's some stupid shit. It's like, oh, well, everybody has perfection in them and they can create perfect art, and people have moments where they can create perfect art, and we're doing this all for the art. So he's killing motherfuckers for this is his magnum opus. That's why it's called Opus, because some serial killers, they mechanize in their brain that them killing is an art form. It's like that movie Seven, when he was like killing people based off the 7 deadly sins. So they got to do it in a special way and do it on certain specific dates and times and all sorts of stupid shit or whatever. So this is his art piece, is killing these people and then getting his book out there and shit. Like, the nigga ain't making no sense. He got some shit going on, and like she's just sitting there entertaining this. And so the first night they get there, they have a dinner. This is what I would like. There's so many moments in the beginning when I would have just walked the fuck out. Like, they have a dinner, right? And this nigga, like, she wants to sit at the front with everybody else, and this and John Malkovich and shit. And like this old white motherfucker moves her fucking out the way. She sees her pulling the seat out, and this nigga gonna sit down and be like, "Thank you." Bitch, I just wanted to shake this hoe and be like, bitch, if you don't get some bass and say some shit, like, no, I was sitting here. Like, see, she's 27 in this movie. She's young. She's the youth. She's the youth and shit. So I can't even. No, your 20s, you're young. This is your first time being an adult and learning how to have bass in your voice with other adults that are over you and shit. So, you know, I can't even be like too upset, but it just still pisses me the fuck off because she shouldn't have had to experience that. And then she sits down. This little girl comes up to her, little children of the corn child. I don't care. And like, can you? So I was talking about her. Your hair is pretty. Can you come sit down with me? And da 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 da. And so she goes and sits down next to the little girl, right? And then the first course comes out, and it's this communal piece of bread down this long ass table filled with at least like 25 people or some shit, and they're passing the communal bread back and forth. And God. Oh God, you know I don't do bodily fluids unless it's my nigga, my child, my cat. Cause if she got sick, I'll have to clean her ass and shit. So I gotta be prepared for shit like that, you know. But like, just just other people. Oh God, it was so gross. They all took a bite of it, and then they kept and then when it got to her, it was covered in saliva of 24 other people. And then this bitch gonna take a nibble, and I just said, "What the fuck, bitch?" No, I got texture. Like the smell of the mixture of the saliva and the bread together would have made me projectile vomit on the table. I have neurodivergencies and sensory issues. Don't fuck with my senses. It would just be an involuntary action. I would just projectile vomit all across the table and just keep going like, and this bitch took a fucking nibble, and I was just like, how much do we not like ourselves, love? Baby doll, how much do we not like ourselves? How much are we pedestalizing these people and feeling like we have to do these things? I don't give a. This why I can't be going, like, I can't be Andrew Zimmern and be going to these fucking tribes and trying their little delicacies and shit. I will hurt some people's feelings. Because if it doesn't work on my taste buds, I will vomit. If it's too much food, I can't eat it all. Like, I can only eat a portion of it. Like, there are things that, like, if it's too spicy to the point where all you taste is heat and no other flavors, I can't eat that shit, love. Like, it's like there's no other flavors except for heat. I don't even know why you can eat it. Is it masochism? Like, what? Lord Jesus, I hated it. It was horrible. The devil, she nibbled it, and then they brought out some fucking lobster and shit, and for everybody got their own separate lobster. Good. I was just like, is that the only meal? Like, what's going? Oh, the bread was covered in saliva. Let's get past that. So anyways, John Malkovich is doing this little like speech and bragging about knowing Muhammad Ali and like what's that nigga that used to kick people in the face and shit? Norris, not Chuck Norris, there you go. And some weird ass story about them chopping mosquitoes in the air or some stupid shit. I don't fucking know. He's bragging. I start to zone out when niggas start bragging and shit about the things the people they know and the people they interacted with. Unless it's like, the only time I would listen is if it's like some old Hollywood story, like some old nigga talking about how some story about Marilyn Monroe and shit. I'd be like, really? Wow. You know things. You knew the people back in the 50s. Tell me more. This is interesting, but I don't care about them other motherfuckers. Stupid ass. So anyways, like, she thinks this is weird, right? But it's still not weird enough for her to fucking leave or attempt to leave yet, right? So that night she goes to her room to get ready for bed. They've taken her laptop. They've went through her shit and taken her fucking laptop. Girl, when are we leaving? When are we escaping? Like, there's no... We even got to the worst parts though. The worst parts. And then she looks outside, and the little girl from Doom Patrol and Predator that always be playing these weird bad bitches and shit, like, is sitting outside of her door, like, monitoring her and guarding her, like, cause she can't be by herself in that motherfucker. And I'm just like, so everybody had a monitor. Everybody that came there had a monitor. And then while that's happening and she's in her room listening to, he put his single on the radio for everyone that came to listen to. One of the dudes is getting a massage, and then they come in that motherfucker and chop his motherfucking head off. Right. It's the one that the podcaster that was making fun of him and his dog that he stuffed. Yes. So the next day she wants to go jogging. The little monitor, Doom Patrol chick is jogging with her. She comes across this nigga laying on the lounge, and he's trying to give his ideology. Like, she learned from some of the other folks there, like, that basically he called them on the phone and told him to come to his compound, and that's how they became, a part of the cult. Because they were just so flabbergasted and amazed by his celebrity and shit. Now you're a part of a cult, love. Like, this is a human fucking being moving based off of their own machinations. This is not God. This is, what is you doing, love? And so he's trying to talk about the levelists and how, like, oh, they believe that everybody has creativity and everything is for the sake of creativity, and it doesn't matter what it is. We need to do shit for the sake of creativity. He ain't even explaining it in a way that even matters. He's a sociopathic narcissist. The nigga just wants attention, and he doesn't care who he steps over or harms to get attention, and he murders people for the sake of getting the attention. He's got some shit going on. So, like, she goes back to her room to take a shower, and when she gets out the shower, there's a knock at the door, and the only other couple of black people are there that are in the cult are there, and like, they just barge into, this woman just barges into the room. And she's just saying, this girl got too much anxiety for me. Like, that's why you got to fix your anxiety, love. People see that shit pouring out your fucking pores. Like, I was talking to some clients this weekend. I was just like, it don't matter, like, if you think you're masking. If you're highly emotionally aroused, people can tell. You have a tell. People can tell when you're upset. People can tell when you have anxiety. People can fucking tell. You think you're masking, you're not masking. Think of the worst person in your office that's a bitch all the time and has an attitude with people. They probably think they're masking too. That's why when you tell on them and shit, they be in denial about it and be like, oh no, what are you talking about? I didn't mean it that way. But like, can't nobody else tell that they a bitch. Like, no, we know you're a bitch. So just like you can tell that the office bitch is a bitch, people can tell that you are the office pushover. You think you're hiding it, you're not. And so that's why you have to work on yourself from the inside out, because you will be subconsciously putting out physical tells to let people know that they can fucking walk all over you and shit. And you won't even know that you're doing it until somebody that genuinely gives a shit about you sits you down and tells you sometimes. That's what happened to me. Like, girl, like, you over there, like, you asked him 5 times for that shit. Like, chill out. Like, oh, I did. Yeah, girl. Right. That type of shit. Getting red in the face and when you get anxious and stuff. Like, do you know you get red in the face when you get anxious? When you get angry, your ears get red and shit. Do you notice that? Like you may not be aware of it. You may not be aware of it at all. And so this is like that's why you got to work on yourself from the inside out, because manipulative motherfuckers are very insightful because they're looking for their next target to fuck with, and they're looking for people that will easily give off tells to let them know that they got some shit going on and they got low self-esteem, and it basically is a big sign over your head saying come fuck with me. Right. So the fact that she let this bitch barge into her room when I would have bogarted this hoe and knocked her the fuck over. No, you gonna have to get aggressive with me, love. Like, I'm gonna knock you back down every single time until you show who you really the fuck are. My boundaries will bring that motherfucking sociopathic shit out of you, bitch. And then we can fight on equal terms and we can be real about what this shit it fucking is. Right? So anyways, they bombard her, and then they like do her makeup and give her this outfit to wear and shit like that. And then this bitch pulls out a razor, an electric razor, and it's like, well, how's your, situation down there? And she's like, what? And she's like, how's your lady parts, or whatever the fuck she said. And she was just like, at first she did what I needed her to do, and she was just like, I don't think that's any of your business. But then because the lady just stared at her, I guess she got intimidated or some shit, and she was like, well, I was just like, shit. You should have just stuck with that's none of your business. You make her sweat. She's not there yet. She's young and youthful, and this is her first time being 27, being an adult, and she ain't learned how to set boundaries and stand on that motherfucker real good. You gonna have to kill me, bitch. You're not touching my vagina. Immediately, though, you're not gonna shave you're not touching my vagina, you're not shaving my vagina, you're not looking at my vagina. We're gonna stop talking about my vagina right now, love. But see, I can't even say nothing because it took me to get to this ripe old age of 38 before I could even be this way. So this bitch just 27 in this movie. I can't really say shit. I don't know what I would have done at 27 in this situation. Would I even be in this situation at 20? I didn't hang out with white people like that at 27. So no, because what this is telling me is that there's levels to this shit when you hang out with people that are unaware of their cultural, failures. And like, her boss and them, the rest of them were just regular old clueless white people that will overlook shit and not question anything and think it's all just motherfuckers being silly and it's okay. Them are the ones that will take you to the grandmaster sociopathic white people because they're not questioning shit and thinking everything is okay, and will throughout the whole experience, while your instincts are up and you're questioning shit, just be like, no, Joe's just quirky, like he's just a little weird and da da da. He's over there like I don't know, he over there like dancing with knives and shit, like, and not in like a one of them professional dancing with knives. He's just over there like Silence of the Lambs, dancing with a fucking knife and shit, nigga. Like, this isn't normal, girl. They will lead you into the lion's den because they're clueless about their own fucking cultural failures and the fucking monsters that lie within their culture, or they're in severe denial about the monsters that lie in their culture. Like, how black people, we know the monsters that lie in their culture, in our culture. That's what misogynoir is. We know what these monsters look like and shit in our own cultures. That's why we made a name for it, misogynoir. They over there, they got their white feminism and shit, but even within that, they're still not seeing the racism and the mistreatment of black people and people of color within white feminism. So you got layers of this monstrosity within your people that you're not clocking, and then you hanging out with these clueless ass white people that have led you to the grandmaster narcissist sociopath white who is going to murder you all. It could be their boss, it could be a family member. You in a relationship with this motherfucker and everything seems great. Then you go visit their family for the first time and it's like, get out. You ain't never experienced anything like this with this nigga before. And then you meet his family and it's like, get out, and you trying to get the fuck out. Right, exactly. And that's why I can't. I got a side eye because they not paying attention to their people. Editing Jasmine here. So, you know what Opus reminds me of? It's like a Get Out, but like an actual cult. Like it's a cult version of Get Out. Because who statistically runs cults? White folks. And so basically they showing you Get Out in like the societal realm, the systematic racism and killing niggas realm. No, I feel like, see, in my spirit, I feel like this is, now we got Get Out in the personal realm in people's families and shit, and then we got Get Out in the societal social construct realm and shit of a cult. No, I feel it in my spirit. That's what it is. You think it's a regular ass white person and they just chilling, and then they take you to meet their friends and shit, like, and all of a sudden you're in a box. Right, you're in a box, like that girl that got in a box when she went to that sleepover with all her little white friends and didn't know that she was gonna end up at the bottom of a balcony, and nobody knows what happened. Nobody knows what the fuck happened. Nobody got arrested. They don't give a fuck. I'm not gonna know. I wouldn't have went on that trip. I wouldn't have. Celebrity's not that important to me. I can do art a different way. I can figure it out. Jesus will help me. Like, no, because look where it ended her up. Now she in some cult situation, and then she telling the white people that she came with, like, this is weird. Why were they looking at my vagina and shaving it? Why da. And they're just like, no, he's just a weird rock and roller. Like, okay. Looking at your genitals, he's just a weird rock and roller. And then they go inside and he gives them this little concert situation, and this nigga's dancing around in this silver outfit. Then one of the girls that came with him started coughing and hacking and all this other shit, right? So they take her out talking about, oh, we're just going to give her an IV so that, you know, she can be okay and blah, 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 blah. And then this whole time, what's her name? Ayo Dabiri, I think that's her name. She wants to write her own separate piece about the cold. And, you know, the white lady that they came with, the older white lady, she's like, go for it. Write the piece. Do what you want to do. Fuck that white man. And then she go open her mouth and talk to her boss about it. And I'm just like, girl, she gonna go talk to that white man and be like, I think we should do a piece on the cold. I think this will be a just. And he's like, no, it's about the music. It's about the music. La, 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 la. And I'm just like, why would you even ask? You know what? She's a youth. She's young. She's young. She still thinks people are like decent people or whatever the fuck she thinks. I don't know. I'm tired. No, because I just feel like there were so many things, so many obvious things that could have been like seen that nobody was seeing. And like, and then he takes her over to this little yurt in the middle of a field and shows her this dude in there, and the dude is shucking clams, right, looking for pearls, and like he's cutting his hands up and the knife goes in between this part and this nigga talking about, this is something that each and every one of us has to do, da 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 da. And I'm just like, did you have to do it? I just feel like you didn't have to do that. I just feel like you didn't have to shuck these clams, love. I just feel like you lying, talking about we all had to do this. I feel like you haven't not stabbed yourself in the hand. I mean, I could be wrong. He be walking around wearing these gloves and shit all the time, but I just feel like in my spirit, like this nigga didn't go as hard as them other niggas that was stabbing themselves between their finger meat and shit. Like, we got these people doing weird ass shit, like, and it's fucking weird, and the white people are not clocking it, and the only one clocking it is the little black girl, and like she's more and more seeing more and more and feeling more and more weird. And nobody's listening to her. Nobody's, girl. Oh my gosh, nobody's fucking listening to her, and that's what pissed me off too. Like, nobody's listening to this bitch. Nobody's trying to like comfort this hoe. Everybody's just looking at her like she's the crazy one. And then when she's talking to her boss and shit, and he's telling her that, oh, nothing's weird, and you don't need to focus on the cold, and and just focus on the music and taking notes, and you're just here to take notes and shit. This nigga gets shot in the shoulder with a damn arrow, and he's like, he's just screaming and screaming, and they try to make it seem like the kid shot the arrow. The kid might have shot the arrow. They giving me Children of the Corn vibes. The kid might have shot the arrow. And so like they bandage his shit up. No one takes him to the hospital. No one calls the police. They just bandage his shit up and give him a sling. I guess they have a emergency kit on deck or some shit. And then like they all go to their room. They all congregate in one room that night to like drink. They ditch the little guard people, and then they have like a little drink, and then the little black girl is trying to tell them like, y'all don't think this is weird? He's got shot in the shoulder. Like, y'all don't think this is weird? This is like a fucking cult, and da da da. And of course these white people are like, what is she talking about? This isn't weird. Oh my gosh, he's just a weird ass white dude, and he's just a rock on, and whatever the fuck they be doing. And I just, oh god. No, because they got her trapped 4 hours away from civilization, or at least 40 miles from civilization. They got her trapped and shit, and and they not clocking it. Like, these white people are not clocking it, and that's how white people are. That's how they be with their own people. Like I always mention, that's why they let Ted Bundy sit in the law library, because he said he wanted to study his case, because he decided he was gonna be his own lawyer. So they let him sit in the law library by himself in the courthouse to study his case with the window open. And this motherfucker jumped out the window and ran out that motherfucker, and then killed a house full of nurses. Nursing students. He killed a house full of nursing students. Right, because the guards at the jail could just not comprehend how this, in their eyes, the decent looking white boy was gonna do any harm by looking at some books. And white folks got this thing where they just overlook, and I hate when they act surprised that somebody was like a serial killer or some shit, because I just be like, statistically it's mainly your people that are serial killers, right? Like, you don't want to clock that. Like, you white women, you know how your men is. Like, why would you just sit up here and act surprised when you found out your next door neighbor was a serial killer? Why are you surprised? Like, I believe everyone can run the gamut of the most evil to the most. So like, I'm not surprised. I might be disappointed that you turned out to be a fucking horrible ass person, but I'm not fucking surprised, because we all can turn out to be horrible ass people if we don't work on ourselves. So if we project on other people and like decide that we're going to use other people as our emotional support animals and shit, like, then yeah, we all have the potential to be horrible ass people. So I believe that, I believe everybody has that potential. So you're not about to shock me with some news that nigga raped somebody or nigga beat somebody. Like, okay, yeah, I believe that nigga could be capable of that. He's a person. He's a human being. We're all capable of some fuck shit. Like, and we're all capable of being the greatest shit. It's just, we're all humans. And so anyways, they having their drinks. Nobody is believing this bitch about this nigga. And so like what she does is like the next day, No, they have their dinner that night. They have another dinner, and this nigga is being dramatic, walking around like being John Malkovich is walking around like being dramatic and falling on the floor, and then doing his little performance and shit. This nigga's dramatic. He's one of them like flamboyant, narcissistic sociopaths and shit. They just be doing random ass stupid shit and stuff. And so the next day, what happens is like she escapes out of the room. She escapes out of the room through the window to go on her jog, but really she's like trying to look around the compound to find the phones, right? So she goes and she runs around the compound and finds where they put the phones and sees that they're all fucked up and broken. If she had looked a little bit over to like the left or the right or some shit, she would have seen the headless body of her fucking friend in there. Or that wasn't her friend. One of the niggas she came with in there. She would have seen that podcaster's headless body. So when she breaks out of the room, the black lady and the bitch from Doom Patrol is knocking on her door trying to find her and shit. And she don't open the door, so the Doom Patrol bitch kick her door down and shit. She always be playing these weird ass silent bad bitches. I like her. She's cool. And so she finds the phones, right? And sees that they're all scratched up. And then here come the black lady behind her talking about, oh, what are you doing in here? And she was just like, don't touch me. I was like, yes, finally, bass. Bass is in her voice. She's scared enough to cuss a bitch out. Yes, God. Then she starts saying she wants to go home now. Now, this is what fucked me up because I would have, like I said, I'm going to continue to bombard and push my way out of this bitch until you either going to have to violently, pull me back, or you going to let me go. Because right now you're masking and trying to still pretend like you're not violent. So let's see how far my boundaries will push you, because you're not going to make me stop doing what I fucking want to do, bitch. So she's telling them, I want to go home. I want to go home. I want to go home. And they're giving her all the excuses in the world. Oh, the bus went to the airport and it's 40 miles away and they're not going to be back for 40 minutes. Or the bus went to town and they're still not going to be back for 40 minutes and da 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 da. And so they want her to go in this little building and see this little puppet play that the kids is putting on and shit. And they said, oh, it's by the gate so you can watch out the window and shit. And she's like, no, I want to go home. I want to go home. And then one of the little children in the corn come out talking about, oh, but I thought you were going to sit next to me and see my play. Bitch, fuck you, little children of the fucking corn, bitch. You're not going to persuade me with your little child face and shit, bitch. I seen the village of the damn bitch. No, nigga, this is a cult. You a child within a cult, so that means you're easily manipulated more so than the adults. Get the fuck out of my face. I'm not sitting next to you. I don't want to see your fucking play. Get me the hell up. I'll smooth cuss the little children on the corn out. I don't give a fuck. I will smooth cuss one of them little children on the corn out. Get me the fuck up out of here. So she's trying to get on one of the ATVs. They talking about, oh, it only goes 10 miles and then you're going to have to walk most of the way and that's 40 miles. And better, girl, I was sitting up here like, well, I guess I'm going to walk. I guess I'm going to walk because, bitch, where? So they talk her into seeing this play. And it's basically like a bunch of like zombie rats abusing Billie Holiday and shit. And she's standing up there crying while they asking her all these fucking questions and shit. And then while she's sitting on a little beanbag looking out the window trying to see when the van come, some pushes out her beanbag. And then it's the girl that came, it's the influencer girl that came with them. And she was sitting up there, and then the fucked up part is when she's talking about wanting to leave and shit, the people she came with, the white folks, is all just looking at her like she's ruining everything and she's causing a problem and she's being uppity and niggity, and it's just like, that's why you niggas died. Fuck you, bitches. See, that's why you gotta push on through. You gotta push on through what the fuck you want. Fuck what everybody else want. It'll work itself out. It'll work itself the fuck out one way or the other. You're not gonna keep me trapped here. You're not gonna. It just felt so triggered. I was just like, she's trapped. They're trapping her there. She's trapped. Because you know how I feel about people trying to control me and trap me in places and tell me what the fuck I can and cannot do if I don't want to fucking do some shit. No, nigga, you not about to trap me, nigga. This bitch goes and watches this play And then this bitch comes out this beanbag and she's like all about to burst. Like the fluids in her body are about to burst out of her body. So they poison this hoe. And so she's over there choking on her own fucking tongue. It looks so horrible and it looks like a horrible death. I think it might have taken in movie time maybe 15 minutes for this bitch to die. Like that's a horrible, tragic death. And she goes and watches the play. And I'm just like, girl. And then he shows his true colors and has them niggas tackle her. And they had a Native Americans damn near scalp one of the bitches. And I was just like, damn, like that felt a little racist. But you know what? Let's let it ride. Let it slide for right now. I'm trying not to dive too deep. I'm tired. I hope it wasn't racism. In the name of Jesus. So like then like they got everybody down, then he just goes on his evil villain soliloquy about nothing. Talking about, you know why I called my album Caesar's Request, and then something about Caesar getting kidnapped by pirates, and then he upped his own ransom because the pirates thought he was a regular nigga, but he had to up his own ransom because he didn't want them, because royalty is still royalty around the fucking peasants and shit. And I was just like, I hate this nigga. I thought everybody was royalty because everybody has the possibility to be perfect and shit. So there's no peasants. Girl, see, they don't be making sense. They don't. They just be saying shit. These fucking narcissists, sociopaths, they just be saying shit because they just want attention. If you really listen to the shit they saying, it don't make no sense, and it's just them projecting onto people how they actually feel about themselves. They're not saying anything. So anyways, like, she's able to get up out the little puppet building while they kill everybody else except for the woman that got partially scalped. And then she runs to like his little model childhood home and tries to hide up in there, but then the Doom Patrol bitch climbs to the window and chokes her the fuck out. And so then she wakes up tied to a chair with the half scalp lady, and then one of the workers there, one of the cult people there, are cutting her rope while they all are holding champagne glasses because they're going to drink, they're trying to like act like they're about to drink the Kool-Aid and die and shit, right? But it's champagne instead of Kool-Aid, right? And so while they're about to drink the champagne Kool-Aid situation, one of the cult people are cutting her rope, like they're trying to help her escape, right? So she gets up out of there, and here come little Doom Patrol girl after her. She gets on an ATV, but she's able to bust through the gate, and then she jumps into the car of one of the fans that have been outside of the compound gates and shit. He might have been in on it too. Because when they got back, because she went and got the police, and when they got back, this nigga was sitting on the podium playing a piano in all white, like whatchamacallit, what's his name? I forgot. But like, and all the people she came with was dead in front of him and shit. And so 2 years later, she done wrote a book about all this shit, right? No one knows where the rest of the like cult members are. They disappeared. So there were no bodies. There was nothing, right? So she wrote a book about it, and she's been trying to get it. And this nigga was arrested and put into like a mental hospital. And I'm just like, why is he in a mental? You know what? These serial killers, they don't be just taking them the fuck out. They just cop a plea and they just leave them. And so when the apocalypse come and these motherfuckers Mad Max out, there are going to be active serial killers that are broken out of jail just around doing whatever the Mad Maxing is. So he's in a mental hospital after he did all of that, and she's been wanting to get another interview. She's had 6 requests to get another interview with him, and finally he agrees to it. And basically she goes to the interview, and he's rambling on narcissistically and shit about nothing. And then he basically tells her that he orchestrated the whole thing because he liked this little less than 500 word article she wrote about a teacher and how she described the teacher's chin. Girl, I don't, narcissistically rattling on. I'm sure she wrote very well. I don't fucking know. And so like he basically told her that he orchestrated the whole thing because he wanted to be famous and he wanted his message to be out there, and his followers are just out there in the world still teaching the rhetoric of this fucking cult. And even though we still don't have a clear idea of what this cult is, it's not, we're not supposed to, we're just supposed to see how stupid this motherfucker is. And then she realizes, she goes on this interview on this television show, and the lady has on one of the cult leader necklaces on her necklace and shit. And then she realizes that he was telling the truth and these motherfuckers are everywhere, and she just basically fed into. And that's why I said in the beginning of this bitch, when you objectify and you hyper focus on one aspect of something, it makes it very easy for somebody to come in and just manipulate that aspect of the thing that you're focusing on until they get you to do what they want you to do. And now you're basically doing what a cult leader wanted you to do and spreading his message around, and now he's famous like the rest of the serial killers in the world. Did exactly what he wanted you to do. But I mean, if it wasn't her, it would have been somebody else, because obviously he was just dead set on, being out in the world and having all this attention, and his cult being out in the world and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, it's just a message. It's just a message to just be self-aware and monitor toxic behavior. See the human being as the full human that they are and what they're trying to show you, instead of, he hit me because work was bad today, and so he was just upset. Don't make excuses for stupid ass behavior. That's a part of who he is as a person, and that's how he chooses to deal with his shit. So obviously we need to make a safety plan and get the fuck up out of here, because he's not choosing to deal with his shit in a better way. It's a pattern. Just like, so now we get to what I learned from Love Island this week. So today was the finale, and the right people won. Yes, God. Amaya deserves it all. I don't care what you're talking about. Them niggas tried to tear her the fuck down. But God, she won this motherfucker and won that $50,000 and got her a nigga on the way. I know the fuck that's right. I told y'all she got like some neurodivergency type behaviors, and I just feel like she's just expressive and magical and wonderful, and the way that she embraced herself, and she knows that she's different, y'all. She knows that she's different, y'all, and she knows that difference isn't a bad thing, and that she deserves love. And at the very end, when she was saying, I just feel so validated in the fact that, like, I could just be myself and be loved for myself, and it's enough, and y'all can see it too. And I was like, yes, bitch, that's what we all want. That's what we all want, because those are the type of behaviors that get bullied in school. That's the type of shit that you get isolated for and shit, and you never think that anybody could truly see you or truly care about you because you just too weird or whatever the fuck. And you realize that, like, when you see shit like that, you realize that, no, nigga, people see it. People see your greatness. You just gotta be patient. You gotta see your greatness. She just kept on keeping on. She saw her greatness and she went for the gold. And that bitch got everything she wanted just by being her motherfucking self and not giving a fuck what anybody thought or felt, and caring about the people around her. So everybody liked her because she genuinely cared about motherfuckers around. It was magical. And that's who I'm going to pay attention to. That's who I want to be like, because no, I want to be myself. I want to be ditzy and weird and goofy and wonderful, and I want to be loved for it. I want to be adored for it. I want it to be all that and more. And like the whole Huda situation, Huda reminds me of myself in my 20s, and that's why, like, I just feel like ill to see it. It's cringy because it's not right. And the thing is, she did grow, and that's the thing. Like, she's just growing on television, and so it looks horrible. It looks horrible. Like, I did this in private. Like, so I think what happened with Huda and Chris is that Huda started to see how Chris was in the beginning, how he was caring and gentle and all this other stuff. But because she still has this thing inside of her where she thinks like niggas are gonna fuck her over, It's almost like she subconsciously looks for shit to complain about. And so in the beginning, I think that it was more of her subconsciously looking for shit to make a face about or smack her lips about, until eventually this nigga started to get tired of that. And you notice that he isolates when he gets upset or overwhelmed. This nigga will get quiet. And he even said it, like when his mom came and he was like getting really anxious and emotional, and he said that he needed to just be by himself for a little bit and just sit, because that's how he gets when he gets emotional and shit. So this nigga was pulling back emotionally, but still, like, I think he still liked her, because I think his feelings were genuinely hurt when she said she just wanted to be friends. I think he really did like her. But I feel like because she kept fucking around with this kissing and then fucking in the rooms type shit and not clearly explaining what was going on with that, because it is weird, love. It is weird. Like, I know you traumatized from Jeremiah and shit, but like you can't take that into the next thing. Like, it is what it is. So maybe this was too soon for you to have a next thing. You had to heal from that shit first, because you can't take that trauma into the next thing. Not when you fucking in a room full of 15 people, but then in public you don't even want this nigga to kiss you on the mouth. Like, you can't do that. You took some shit into the next thing, and this nigga wasn't Jeremiah. And so I think he just started pulling back. He just started pulling back physically, not really wanting to touch her. Not really. He became a little bit colder. He became a little bit meaner too, like a little bit more aggressive. Like, he was throwing pillows and shit at her, and it hit her in her eye, and then he jumped on her and then hit her in the back of the head. Now, I could say these were accidents, but I just feel like it was done a little bit too aggressively for it to be full accidents. I don't think he meant to do it to hurt her, but I do think that he like did things a little too hard. When you throw in a pillow, you don't need to throw it that hard, love. Like, you got upset. And so now you don't know where the pillow gonna go, right? So, like, I don't think he necessarily is physically abusive or anything. I think he just got upset, and then kept trying to communicate it, and then she would just have reasons for why she did what she wanted to do. And she wasn't gonna budge on that shit, and he was trying to act like he wasn't mad about it. He was just being like, well, at least we communicated with each other and stuff, but you were still mad about it. That's why you're not like trying to touch her and shit. Now you're trying to be passive aggressive because you don't want to like embrace the fact that you still upset about this. She kept asking you, are you upset about this? Like, let's talk about it. Da, da, da. No. And so then he started to actively pull back. Like, before, it was just her trying to find shit that wasn't there, that was triggering to him, and then her making up this whole situation because she's still traumatized from Jeremiah, and then this nigga just fell off. He fell the fuck off, but he still liked her. That's just how he deal with his fucking emotions and shit. But she wouldn't budge on shit. She wouldn't budge. She wouldn't compromise. She wanted to do what she wanted to do when it came, and valid. You don't gotta budge, love. But this nigga gonna pull back because he's tired, and you not trying to see where he's coming from or his side, so he gonna pull back. It is what it is. So now you've created this self-fulfilling prophecy of, he don't show up for me like that. He don't even want to touch me like that. He's not gentle and kind with me like he was in the beginning. You kind of like low-key pushed him there, love. Like, I didn't see him doing nothing to her that was fucked up. Like, he kept trying, and then she low-key just kind of pushed him there. And like, I think he would have probably wanted, because he still wanted to try and work it out outside of the place. But she was just like off of it, because at that point, I think she started to realize that, no, it needs to be off top. It needs to be off top, and it needs to stay that way. But the thing is, love, is like, I don't know if she realized that, like, you can't influence that. You can't influence somebody like showing up for you. You just gotta see if they do. And then you can't be pouting and being mad and shit just because you're assuming that they're not showing up for you. Little tiny things that he was doing that wasn't a big deal, like when they was at yoga and like he was asking everybody else the question about their babies and stuff and forgot to ask her. Like, that's literally seemed like a I forgot to ask you situation. But if she had just been chill in that situation and just observed and saw if it became a pattern, then it would have been like, okay, if it became a pattern, then it would have been like, oh, okay, well, no, like, this is a pattern now. This is an issue. But you didn't give it a chance to see if it was going to become a pattern, love. You just assumed immediately that, oh, well, that hurt my feelings. Like, your feelings kept getting hurt, love. And it just, like, feels like you was just trying to find shit after a while. And he nigga got tired. Like, when, that's why I be telling folks, when you have been traumatized, and especially in romantic relationships, you need to go to therapy. You need to go to therapy like immediately. You need to work through that because you can't bring that into some new shit with a decent person. Like, therapy will help you work through the shit so that when you go to the new shit, it'll teach you how to love yourself so you can do nice shit for yourself, so that you can recognize when a person is a good person because you're being a good person to yourself. And so, like, you don't know how to do that for yourself, but then you think this nigga is supposed to build you up and do that for you. Like, no, love, the nigga's not supposed to build you up. You need to build your fucking shit up, and he needs to build his shit up. Then you come together, both your shits is built up, and then you work it out together. You figure it out from there. Like I just feel like that it wasn't it. It just, she fucked her own shit up, and it's cringy because that's the type of shit I was doing in my 20s. Because I never said it was right. But I can't be mad at her knowing that I did the exact same thing. That I fucked my own shit up, like, in very similar ways. Like, I can't be mad. I just have to be like, well, she fucked her shit up, but she learned some stuff, and hopefully she gets to the point where she learns that a part of that was her assuming shit before the nigga even showed her who he really was. So, like, you know, you played a part in this shit, girl. Like, I don't know what to tell you. But no, like, I feel like at the end though, she was disconnected emotionally enough to not show it on the television. So that's growth. And like, she learned some stuff. And it is what it is. But I'm glad Maya, like, that's all I care about, Maya and Brian. Like, I still don't feel like Alondria and Nick were a real thing. I mean, they might be. I just feel like it was too fast, too sudden for it to really actually be a real. And Iris and Pepe, I don't care about Pepe. He like blonde bitches. He has a preference, and his preference is triggering. So I don't be paying attention to that nigga. I just be like, live your life, Pepe. Iris, live your lives. That's beautiful. No, I'm here for Maya and Brian. Yes, God, the neurodivergent queen, in the name of Jesus. I was crying when she won. I was just like, yes, how she be getting her little zoomies and shit. I be twirling. I like to twirl. I don't be running around. I be twirl. That's my stem. I like to twirl and shit. I just felt it in my spirit, and I just was like, she deserves the world. Yes, she does. She's just so sweet and so kind and so wonderful. And them niggas ganging up on her at that letter thing, like, I hated that so much for her. I just wanted it all to be done. I just hated it. And like, 3 niggas ganged up on her and couldn't really say anything that she actually did that was a problem. And like, 3 niggas went home and and she won that motherfucking money and a nigga. And so God is here with us, showing us things. He is, in the name of Jesus, he is. I don't care what you're talking about. I don't care what you talking about and shit. But no, like, y'all need to watch this movie Opus. Like, it's gonna piss you the fuck. No, it mainly just pissed me the hell off. Like, I just felt like there were things that she was experiencing that she didn't have to experience if she just put some bass in her voice and some pep in her step and said, I don't want to do this. But we too afraid to lose like our jobs and like shit like that, which makes sense. Nobody wants to be homeless and shit or live back with your parents if you don't really necessarily have to or want to. But like, no, nigga, like, so that means we gotta be abused? Like, see, that's the way the white people made the world. Like, either you gonna have to be abused in these situations or you gonna be homeless. And I hate that. I hate that those are like the only options and shit. Like, that's some bullshit. And that this nigga played the fuck out of her and basically orchestrated the whole thing. That's how deep it gets with manipulative motherfuckers, and you won't know it till the end. And hopefully at the end you're still alive. Like, that's why, like, and all red flags look the same in the beginning. So see how he, like, they slowly just kept crossing her boundaries, making her eat spit soup and spit bread and shit, taking her phone and going through her shit, taking her computer, shaving her vagina. Like they just slowly kept amping up the boundary crossing, gaslighting, love bombing. All of that shit looks the same in the beginning. You don't know what path it's going to lead you down, but it all looks the same in the beginning. That's why you got to clock it and not make excuses for it, because it could lead you down a path where you just with a fuckboy that, you know, he cheats and shit, and you just, you know, you got to break up with him. He cheats. Or it can lead you down a path where you end up on a cult in the middle of the desert, damn near in a box. It could lead you anywhere. It could lead you anywhere. And so I just clock it in the beginning. I'm not making excuses for it. I'm not going to be in denial about it. These behaviors are not okay. You're not going to treat me any type of way. I don't care who it is, because niggas with money, that just means they got enough money to hide a body and never get caught. You got me fucked up. Enough money to build you a very nice basement city under their mansion where they keep you forever, because they don't care about your plans and goals in life. They just care about having their little doll person in their basement city that they can move and manipulate all the time. They don't care if they've just stolen your life and that it hurts you or nothing. They don't care about none of that shit. No, that's like my biggest fear is to get kidnapped out of my life into a damn basement city and shit. Like, just be in there for a decade, everything's gone, everything, and you're just like, girl, like, I have so many plans and things I want to do and places I want to go and experiences I want to have, and now I have to live my life for this motherfucking psycho and shit. Like, you got me fucked up. That's why you red flags. I'm not gonna end up in a basement city. You got me fucked up. I don't care what you're talking about. That's why you gotta set boundaries. That's why you gotta stand firm on boundaries. Why you gotta recognize what you want and what you don't want, and be firm about that shit. Even if nobody else agrees, as long as it's not hurting you or nobody else, keep what you. If you don't want to have kids and you firm about that shit, and can't nobody else tell you what the fuck you want. The fuck? If you want to be with that motherfucker and he ain't harming you and shit, and you love him and shit, be with that motherfucker. You 5'10" and he 5'5", and niggas keep talking shit. Fuck them niggas. You be with that motherfucker if you love him like that. The fuck? He treating you right. Who gives a shit? You know? And that's where you got to be at. You got to be so firm in your decision making, as long as it does not harm yourself or other people. I don't give a shit what nobody think. I just don't give a shit. Like, I've been thinking over like the past year or two about the many ways that I have embarrassed myself without realizing it. And you know what? Girl, tomorrow's a new day. I don't even feel like dwelling on that shit. I don't even feel like I'm going to embarrass myself for the rest of my life in various different ways. And the only way that I can be embarrassed about is if I give a shit about it. And most of the time I don't give a shit about it. So I just don't even want to think about it. Well, it happened. It's over. I don't know. What you want me to, did somebody get hurt? Like, it's over. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I actively do work on not hurting people. Like, I try not putting hands on, not trying to take consent away from people or anything like that. So I feel like as long as I do not do things like that, embarrassing, I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm not walking on eggshells and trying to cater to other people's insecurities and shit. Because look what happens when you do that. You end up in a cult in the middle of the fucking desert eating spit bread. I think that was like the worst part of the movie for me. That's going to stay in my mind forever. My mind has conjured up a smell of what it thinks that spit bread smelled like. And now every time I think about it, I just feel like this ghost of a gag in the back of my throat. And that was the worst part of the movie. Spit bread of 25 other people. Oh God. You will never get me with your little children of the corn. I'll cuss the child out. You keep trying to get that child trying to keep me in a place I don't want to be, nigga. I'll leave that child there and call the police, and the police can come get that child. You get the fuck away from. I've seen enough true crimes of scary movies to see how they be using these children as gophers for motherfuckers so they can trap you with the children and shit. You got me fucked up, nigga. I don't got time for it. I will call the police first before having a full-on conversation with some random street child. No, nigga, like, oh, you're out here by yourself. Let's call the police. No, don't call the police. No, you're out here by yourself. I'm going to call the police. No, and then they run off. And then girl, I don't got time for it. I don't. And I'll still call the police because it's a child with the whole description of the child and everything where I'm at, and let them come and search the neighborhood and try to find that child and hope to God that child can get saved and put into a nice family or some shit. I don't fucking know. They got shit to do with me though. I don't care. No, because you want me to be murdered for the sake of charity. And I'll do charity, but like I'm not going to do charity when it involves causing harm to myself. Putting myself in dangerous situation. I'm not. And this just like Blink Twice, this has made me even more afraid of rich people and famous people. They got enough money to hide a body, and then they be like objectifying themselves and forgetting that they're human just because they have money. Like they forget that they're human beings and like they're just people. Just because you have money, it doesn't mean anything. And that's a dangerous combination when you think you're a god and you have money. This nigga thought he was a god. He thought his art, stupid ass songs and shit made him a god, and that people loved his songs and worship him made him a god and shit. Like, no, nigga, you're just a god for loving yourself and hoping other people love themselves. That's what makes you a god. That's what the God inside of us is supposed to do, is just love ourselves as completely and wholly as possible without being conceited. And pray and hope that other people love themselves too, and show other people that love that you show yourself. That's the God. That's the God inside of. That's what you're supposed to do. Probably some other stuff too in there, but you know what? That's the main part that I focus on: loving myself, hoping other people love themselves, showering the people that I care about with the love that I shower myself. Like that's all. You know, that's a nice stable place to be. Like I don't understand. Then we all can be loved and give love and show love and love. But whatever the fuck this is, nigga, that nigga ain't a guy. Being John Malkovich is not a guy. Like, ever since that movie came out, that's been his name in my head. Being John Malkovich, yes. I ain't never even seen that movie. I just knew that back in the day it was really popular, and I just never saw it because I just feel like it was just some white people movie. It probably was really good or whatever, but I've never seen it. But because everybody hyped it up and shit, now his name is Being John Malkovich. Okay, it was like this nigga goes through a door and is inside John Malkovich's head. I don't know, something like that. Right. So love yourself. Don't let yourself be easily manipulated by people. See people as whole instead of the pieces that you want to see. Because if you only see the pieces that you want to see, well, then they can just manipulate those pieces to be what you think that you want until you look up and realize that you're in a trap made out of those pieces that you were focused on. And now you're stuck. Now you're stuck because with the rest of the shit that's in here that you weren't paying attention to, and you're in a basement city and somebody underneath somebody's mansion or in the middle of a desert in a cult eating spit bread. Because you could not comprehend that when this nigga wanted you to shave your vagina, they would also want to see your shaved vagina. Like, you just could not comprehend that, you know, like you couldn't comprehend that when this nigga took your cell phone, that this will lead to you eating spit bread. Like, you could not comprehend that, like, you know, and then you just keep going with it. Like, you got me fucked up. Like, that's why, like, as soon as I see a red flag, any possibility of anything could be, I'm ready for any possibility. I'm ready for this red flag to turn into you're a serial killer or you're just a fuckboy. But it can run the gamut, but I'm on high alert. You won't know that I'm on high alert. I'm just going to be like, oh, you just sitting there bragging about all the famous people you know or some stupid shit. Are you sitting there cussing the waitress out and shit? And I'm just like, nigga, I need to get the fuck up out of here. You sitting there You sitting there like getting mad over the smallest things, going 0 to 100 and stuff over little shit. Like, immediately know, like, you got fucked up morals and values and shit, and trying to like justify being like homophobic or transphobic or some shit. Like, I'm just trying to find the escape and not argue with you. I just want to get up out of here and not argue with you. That is my goal at that point. And you won't know it's my goal. I will try my best to just keep masking and hopefully not have any tails, so that you think that I'm enjoying this conversation. But really, I am trying to figure out how close is the front door to the bathroom. Because all I got to do is ask to go to the bathroom and slip out that motherfucker and drive the fuck home. You don't know where I live. In the name of Jesus, you don't know where I live. You know, and that's, you keep yourself safe when you recognize people as a whole person. It's how you keep yourself safe, because you put blinders on basically when you only see the pieces that you want to see and shit. Now you in the desert eating spit bread. There you go. I have to go because I keep saying it and it's making my mouth feel uncomfortable, like vomity and shit. So I'm glad Amaya and Brian won. They deserve it. Amaya deserves it in the name of Jesus. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Later days.